Dr. Ken D. Berry saved my life. Hello everybody, welcome to my video. I think it's about time I share my carnivore journey story. I've been on the diet for a little over 4 months now, and I really wanted to take some time to see how well it worked for me and if I was going to be consistent like I've never been in the past before I really shared any of my experiences or what I've found so far. When I mean that Dr. Berry saved my life, I mean that he gave me the tools and the education to save my own life, to change my own life, and change the direction and the path that I was on. But since I've been on the diet now for, like I said, over 4 months, I think almost 5 months at this point, it's been astounding. I've been shocked by numerous different things, and at this point, it's just extra anecdotal evidence that what we knew to be true and what we learned about nutrition and dieting for our entire lives is all false. It's fake. It's not true. We're just listening to the masses of big pharma, big food, big all that crap that is just BS and just wants us to be sick and spend money. You can be as healthy as you want based on what you put into your body. And I feel that that is entirely true for most people and most situations. Currently, I'm 34 years old. I have been struggling with my weight and my health overall since my early 20s, I would say. Constantly yo-yo dieting. I tried every diet on the face of the planet. That's probably an exaggeration, but I tried all kinds. I remember towards the beginning there was that documentary on Netflix called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, where the guy spent, 90 days, or I don't know how long, but several months doing a juicing diet. And all he had done was he didn't eat any food, he just juiced fruits and vegetables. And at the time, I thought that was like revolutionary. I saw the change in him, the weight loss, but now looking back, I realized that he really felt like crap a lot of the time too. But that's just me now looking back at it, kind of laughing. But at the time, I thought that was really cool. So I went out and bought myself a juicer. I did the juicing thing for, maybe a few days before I gave up. Not sustainable. I was vegan for 6 months, and I did lose some weight for sure. I can't remember how much, but I remember being tired all the time. I remember my teeth hurting like crazy. I remember constantly struggling with what I could even eat. I remember going to Whole Foods and just perusing the aisles and the shelves and the freezers looking for vegan food, but it's all completely processed garbage crap, right? So after 6 months, I can't remember how I stopped being vegan, but I just decided, wow, I feel like crap and this isn't working. And I think one of the determining factors when I was vegan was when I had my physical that year, I was expecting astonishing results in my blood work. That never happened. I think I still had high cholesterol, high blood pressure. Other markers in my blood work were not where I expected them to be after dedicating 6 months of my life to this vegan, this vegan heroism diet of godly kind. People always talk about veganism as you're saving the world, right? You're saving all the animals and the world and the environment, all this crap. I mean, if you do some serious research and don't just, depend on the knowledge that you get from a 1 hour long documentary that's made to make money, then you can really find out the truth of that on your own. But anyway, vegan was a crapshoot for me. I tried, most of the time I tried the diet of calorie restriction, because we all heard calories in, calories out. You need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight, yada, yada, yada. I did Weight Watchers. But with the calorie deficit diet, I usually would eat like salads or chicken breast, broccoli, veggies, stuff like that. I never ate anything that was high in fat or high in calories or anything that made me feel actually satisfied. So with those diets, the reality is that you can't maintain them. They're not sustainable because you constantly feel hungry, you're constantly pissed off, you're constantly irritable, you're constantly unsatisfied nutritionally, and it doesn't work. Sure, you can lose weight temporarily, right? In the first, few days, few weeks of doing this diet, but at some point, your body's not going to be able to keep up with you. Your mind's going to start to slow. You're going to start feeling like real garbage, and you just won't continue it. I mean, at that point, you might as well just go binge at McDonald's so you can feel somewhat full, right? And that's usually what happened. Sometime in 2016, I was having, for about 6 months, I was having gallbladder attacks. I didn't know it at the time that they were gallbladder attacks, but they would usually happen to me at night or in the middle of the night, and right below my breasts, like on the sides and kind of in my ribs area, would just hurt so bad. Like the most intense pain that you can imagine. It was the worst pain in my life. I guess, compare it to when I had viral meningitis when I was a teenager, and the pain in my head was so bad. But this was probably a close second, if not worse than that. It made me double over in pain. I had to put ice packs right here just to subdue the pain a little bit. It was awful. And then in the summer of 2016, I went skydiving. Right after I went skydiving, I had chicken strip basket from the restaurant there. That night, I went through another terrible pain episode, and then I finally went to urgent care, and they did a ultrasound and found that my gallbladder was getting ready to basically explode. So after I had my gallbladder out, I had intense, severe, crippling with pain diarrhea, like fire out of your ass, for years. Yeah, sad to say, but it was years. I think about 5 years I had that problem. So I was always really careful about what I ate. I thought I had to stay away from fat and all of that because my body wasn't able to process the added fat in my diet, right? So I always stayed away from everything like that. But I never got healthier. Eating low fat, eating non-greasy foods, I never felt healthy. I never felt different, right? I never felt like I was getting better in any way. A few years ago, I think in 2021, during my physical, my doctor was just Googling away on this issue I was having, and she came across the medicine cholestyramine, and it's an oral suspension powder. So since then, I've been taking that every single day, and it basically changed my life completely. I no longer have any of those digestion issues that I was. I'm still taking that medicine. I'm curious if one day I can get off of it, but right now, it's keeping me going. It's doing me nothing but good right now. So anyway, for anyone who knows anybody struggling with gallbladder pooping issues, ask their doctor about cholestyramine because it literally changed my life. I used to go from not being able to do a whole lot because I'd always have to worry about a bathroom being nearby or crapping my brains out and intense pain with it too, to now, I could really eat whatever I want and never have any issues. I don't know what it would be like right now if I wasn't taking that medicine, but maybe one day I'll find out. So fast forward to about 6 months ago, I'm the kind of person where I need to really invest myself and immerse myself into what I want to focus on, what I want to be doing. So at that time, I started just binge watching all of Dr. Barry's videos. Not just Dr. Barry, but Lily Kane on YouTube, Homestead How, I started getting into his videos, Laura Spath, Dr. Anthony Chafee, a lot of different people, Dr. Baker. I started binge watching a lot of videos on the carnivore diet, and Dr. Barry's wife, Nisha Barry, as well. She does more ketovore, and I think I'm somewhere in between ketovore and carnivore, but nevertheless, I started binging all those videos and really pumping myself up. And at the time, I was like, God, I really want to stick with it this time. I want to see if this is going to really work for me long term. Make me feel better, not just weight loss, but in other ways too. Just overall health optimization. That's what I was really going for. And I really wanted that. I wanted to be healthier because I wanted my mind to be healthier. I've, throughout the years, struggled with not so much anxiety, I guess, as much as probably bouts of depression and stuff. And I really wanted to feel like I was achieving my goals on my health so I could fix my mind. So at the time, I really just eased into it. I started eating keto, and what I did was I mainly ate meat and salads or veggies, like low-carb veg. And that was really the bulk of most of my meals. And then at night, I would, for my like dessert, I would have a few spoonfuls of Cool Whip with some berries, or like 95% dark chocolate, a couple squares of that. And it worked. It was working for me. And I started losing weight pretty quickly in the beginning. I think the first week I lost like 7 or 8 pounds. Of course, a lot of that's going to be water retention and things of that. But I started feeling a lot better. And almost immediately, I started to feel like the inflammation in my body going down. I stopped farting. I don't know I stopped farting. And for a while there, I was like, dang, I haven't farted in like a week. Isn't that crazy? Anyway. So yeah, things were going good. And then slowly through, the months, I think at about week 4, I went through a bout of feeling like really fatigued. I never really got like the keto flu that they call it, with the headache and all that. I didn't really get a whole lot of that. But I think at about the 1 month mark, I started to feel pretty tired. And there was a couple times where I noticed that I would go like days, even though it's normal to not poop as often on the ketovore, carnivore diet. It's pretty normal not to poop, because you got to keep in mind, like, everything you're eating, your body is using. It's not being wasted. So you're going to have less poop to poop. But I would go like days without pooping, and I didn't feel necessarily constipated at all, but I was like, there's got to be something in there, right? So I did some more research on YouTube, and then after that point, I just upped my fat intake, and then been pretty regular. And honestly, I poop maybe once every 3 days, I would say, on average. But no pain, no discomfort, none of that. So from that keto start, I just started eliminating more foods, right? I went to more of a ketovore, and then some days are a lot more carnivore than ketovore. So right now, for several months now, I've been eating on average about 6 to 7 carbs a day. Usually it's never more than 10 carbs a day. But it's usually no fewer than like 5, I would say. So 5 to 10 carbs a day is really my sweet spot right now. That may change. I don't know. But I always say I'm like more of a relaxed carnivore diet, because in the morning, I still drink coffee in the morning. And I put some heavy cream, and then Nisha Berry recommended some, I think they're, what are they called? Sweet leaf drops, or some little like stevia, I think, based drops. So I put a couple drops of that and some heavy cream in my coffee in the morning. And then at about noon or so, lunchtime, I'll have my first meal, usually bacon and eggs or some kind of meat and eggs. Often I will put a dollop of cream cheese on it. And then I have one more meal, usually around 6 o'clock at night, somewhere around there. And it's usually like, for instance, my wife will make chicken wings, or I'll make steak, or steak and chicken, or, I don't know, some kind of meat. But it's usually just meat. We don't have any veg, we don't have any salads, none of that. The only times I will have any veg or salad is if we go out to eat, which really isn't that often anymore. My go-to, if it's not like a steak place, my go-to is usually I'll get their burger without the bun, no ketchup, And then instead of fries, I sub a side salad with ranch dressing because it doesn't really bother me, like the seed oils and the lettuce and all that stuff, but I definitely don't have it all the time. But if we do go out maybe a couple times a month, that's what I'll do. But other than that, I'm just eating meat, eggs, some cheese here and there, a little bit of heavy cream in my coffee. I guess that's really it. And then the only other thing I do that's really been just cruise controlling me through this whole thing too is the sauce line G. Hughes. Nisha Berry introduced me to that sauce line, but I go to Walmart. They have all kinds of flavors, pretty cheap, like $3 to $4 a bottle, and I get all kinds. So I'll get their barbecue sauce, I'll get their like orange chicken sauce, or whatever it's called. They have some banger like teriyaki sauces, sugar-free ketchup, honey mustard, chicken sauce. I mean, there's so many different things. And so that's really been a game changer because it's about, I think, 2 grams of carbs per serving. So, and a serving is like, you know, two tablespoons. So that fits right into my 5 to 10 carbs a day, to be honest. I also, for fat, I'll add beef tallow. I went on Amazon, got beef tallow, rendered beef tallow, and I use that to cook my meats in a lot. I'll use that to add to my chicken when I'm cooking it to get the chicken to be more fatty. And then other than that, I'll use either bacon grease to cook in. I haven't been doing that recently, or just butter. I get the Kerrygold butter. So, yeah, guys, I mean, that's really it. That's what I've been doing the last 5 months, and from it, I've seen a lot of changes, and a lot of it is what Dr. Berry said that people would see, but you're always a little skeptical, oftentimes because you don't know if that would really work for you, you know? Oh, yeah, it's great that it's working for all these other people, but that's not going to be me. It's not realistic. Nothing's worked for me in the past. Why would this work? September 10th is really when I started going like keto, and today is February 3rd. So in that time period, I just weighed myself this morning. When I started September 10th, I was 229 pounds, which is a lot because I'm like barely 5'4". Probably, I don't know, around like, I think I'm 5'4". But 229 pounds, that's a lot of weight on somebody of my height. And I've always been like, I played sports all of my life. I've always been like more husky, but yeah, just straight up, I was fat. I'm fat, right? I got a lot of fat on me too. Right now, today, this morning, I was 192. That is 37 pounds difference in just shy of 5 months, which I think is pretty phenomenal. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't feel like I'm dieting at all. And that's been my biggest problem with years past and all these other diets I've tried, is I always felt like I was depriving myself, starving myself, felt like crap, everything. But I feel so satisfied. How can you not feel satisfied when you eat meat and fat? Like, animal protein and fat. That's literally what all of our cells in our bodies are made out of. And we're just supplying our bodies with the things that it needs to do what it does, right? Our bodies do crazy things. And when we're not feeding it just sugar and carbs and all this crap that it doesn't need, you start to become like a well-oiled machine. Your body does. And not just your body, but your mind too. I've had a lot more clarity. A lot of my brain fog has really gone away. I don't really have a lot of the aches and pains that I used to get. I still have a little bit of back pain here and there, but nothing to really cry about. I have a torn ACL in my right knee, and my knees used to give me a ton of problems. I don't have any problems with my knees anymore. One thing that I've been keeping an eye on is I have vitiligo. You see where I have no pigmentation in certain areas of my body. And so I'm really curious to see. There's not a whole lot of research on that. I know Joe Rogan talked about his vitiligo basically disappeared after like 30 days or 30, like a month or 2 on Carnivore. I thought that was crazy. I haven't seen that yet, but I'm really curious to see if in the long run that makes a difference in my vitiligo and I start to see some color come back. I'm getting ready to have my physical at the end of February, so in a few weeks. I'm really curious to see what my blood work looks like. I do expect my cholesterol to be high, but go watch Dr. Barry's videos and the videos of other people that have done actual research and read studies. Having high cholesterol isn't necessarily a bad thing. So there's a lot of other markers that we should be focusing on to really tell how our metabolic health is. So I'm going to get all the blood work done that Dr. Barry suggests to really see where I am metabolically. I'm also currently, for the last couple of years, been on high blood pressure medicine. I think it's like 50 grams or 50 milligrams of losartan, I think is what it is. Or 10. I don't know. A low dose of losartan. Whatever the low dose is. I'm not a medicine person. I hate taking medicine. I hate it. That's one thing I didn't want to just abruptly stop taking medicine, so I'm going to talk to my doctor. My blood pressure is obviously, I've been on the medicine, but it's been normal. That's something I'm looking forward to getting off of. Other things I've noticed is like my nails and my hair. They grow a lot quicker. My nails especially. They grow thick and strong and fast, so I'm constantly clipping my nails. I feel like my skin overall has gotten a lot better. I used to break out a lot more. Now I break out a little bit around my time of the month. And speaking about my time of the month, I used to get really bad cramps frequently. But now that I'm thinking about it, in the last 5 months, it really hasn't been that bad. I don't know, maybe there's something to that. A big huge change is bloating. I don't bloat anymore because I'm not eating anything that causes like gas in my body or my body to react in an adverse way. You know that like gross feeling where you feel like you're just gonna bust out of your pants and you can't suck in your stomach or you can't move around? I don't get that anymore, and that's been really, really nice. One thing that I still deal with that hasn't gone away is like some eczema. I get eczema on my forearms. Sometimes it creeps up my hands a little bit. I find it really kind of the worst in the cold winter months, and still struggling with that. I really haven't religiously tried getting, I got some like beef tallow lotion type cream. I didn't really probably give it the best chance, so I only use it for like a week. But that's something that I wish would go away. But beggars can't be choosers. But I would have to say this diet has been the easiest thing I've probably ever done. It's gotten to the point where I don't even think about it. I don't snack at all. Before, I would constantly having to be snacking. If I have anything, if I'm like cooking dinner and I'm really hungry, I'll pop in the fridge and get a slice of cheese. It's honestly been the easiest thing ever. And I think once you get past that initial few weeks, I mean, you're sailing after that. There's nothing holding you back. There's nothing in your way. You're seeing nothing but positive change. Nothing's holding you back at that point. I think the thing is that holds most people back is their willpower to put blinders on in the face of temptation and social situations. If you're the kind of person where you're always going out with friends and you're always going out to eat and you're always going to the bar and you're always doing family functions with a bunch of food, that's going to be a lot harder for you. And unless you have the willpower and the mindset to where you're dedicated 100%, that's going to be tricky. I kind of got to the point where I said, you know what, 2024 is going to be the year of me. This is going to be the year that I focus on myself, on my goals for me, nobody else. But with that, it's also gotten pretty easy for me to go out to eat and find something realistic that I can eat, right? I don't fall into those temptations. If you want to start this journey, I encourage you to do it. And here are my tips to be successful. Number one is start just gradually. Keto, ketovore, carnivore. That's going to be the easiest transition for your body and your mind to go through to be sustainable. The second thing is eat plenty of fat. If you're not getting that fat, that healthy fat then you're going to get that brain fog, you're going to get that fatigue, you're going to get backed up a little bit, and you need that fat for so many different reasons. So get enough fat. Start to eliminate as many plants as you can. A lot of people don't realize how certain veggies and plants and all that crap really truly affect them. So if you eliminate them, through your process, eliminate them, and then at some point you can start gradually adding them back. Do a little experimentation and see how your body reacts to those things. But for me, like I said, the easiest thing is just to stick with meat and eggs and a little bit of dairy here and there. A lot of people don't do well with dairy, so that's another thing to keep in mind. I think another good tip is that you're really only as good as what you surround yourself with and the knowledge that you give yourself. So really dive deep into reading different books, watching different videos, different YouTubers. Really submerge yourself in that world, and it will continue to boost your motivation to keep going. One good book recommendation I could give you guys is The Carnivore Diet by Dr. Sean Baker. I read that earlier this month, and I thought it was a phenomenal book with a lot of anecdotal, personal testimonies as well. And the last tip I can really give you guys at this point is to really start experimenting with intermittent fasting. In the beginning, you're not going to really be able to do long fasting periods. But what I find is, as long as you're eating satiating food, like what it is on the carnivore diet, you can quickly become adapted and feel 1,000% comfortable with doing pretty long fasts. And nothing crazy. I mean, for instance, what I do, I eat in a 6-hour window every day. So most days I go at 18 hours without eating, and totally fine. I don't even think about food. My body is just so used to eating around noon and 6. And as long as I eat enough, and honestly, here's the other tip I'll give you. This is an important one. Do not calorie track. Don't do that. You're setting yourself up for failure. Do not do that. Don't count calories if you're doing the carnivore diet. It's ridiculous. If anything, count your carbs and sugar, right? I was calorie tracking up until just very recently. I was macro tracking, whatever. I think I said that wrong. But I was tracking my carbs. That was it. I was tracking my carbs, and I was tracking my protein and my fat. I was shooting for around 100 grams of fat a day, 1 gram per ideal pound of body weight. And for myself, I put that at 140. So I was shooting for about 140 grams of protein a day. And I wanted to stay under 10 carbs. That's what I was tracking. But do not track calories. That's stupid. If I am hungry, if I'm hungrier, the other day, for instance, I had always been eating 2 to 3 eggs with my first meal. After a while, I was like, damn, I'm getting hungry, right? I can eat more food and it doesn't affect me. I feel better if I eat more food. So now I'm eating 4 eggs, right? I don't care. If I want an extra 6 ounces of meat, guess what? I'm going to eat that 6 ounces of meat. So I don't count calories at all. Don't do that. I think the biggest reason I'm making this video is there's just so many people, myself included, for so long, wanted something different, wanted to get healthier, wanted to find the true answers of diet and nutrition. My dad recently had open heart surgery a few months ago. Have you guys seen the diets and the meals that they serve in hospitals? Have you seen that crap? Everything's loaded with sugar. They gave him an Ensure drink every single day. That is garbage. That's garbage. And then I think back to when I was in school. The food pyramid. Who makes the food pyramid? Obviously everyone that benefits from it, right? All these big food corporations and politicians and big pharma. So much crap is going on right under our noses and we fall for it. Sick people make money. And that's the reality of it. And when you're just eating the right damn food, so much good comes of it that your life gets a whole lot better and you save a whole lot more money. So if you're thinking about this diet, I highly, highly, highly encourage you to do it. Start easy, start small, find a community, find support, and just stick with it. Stick with it for just the first few weeks. And if you do that, I promise you, the rest is history. The rest is easy. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks to Dr. Barry, his wife Nisha, and all the other YouTubers that I've been really enjoying. It's just been a phenomenal experience so far, and I'm really looking forward to the future. Thanks, guys. See ya.